Tonight, government's mortgage crisis dominates the debate in Parliament. We've got the dire financial breakdown of the Mortgage Corporation off the top. Also, find out the charges that landed this group in front of a judge. And later, the global nursing campaign that's about to be launched in the Bahamas. This is Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News brought to you by Flow Evo, powered by BTC. Flow Evo is here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Candino Knowles. Thanks for joining us. Off the top tonight, the debt rate of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation has drastically risen to a staggering $395 million. The startling revelation coming from Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest in Parliament yesterday, noting that the BMC has more than 42% of delinquent loans. The finance minister gave the dire financial breakdown of the BMC, which he said has added to the slow growth rate of the economy.
The total number of loans is 2,889 loans. Of that 2,889 loans, listen to this now, 1,366 are in arrears. The only way to get their money back is if the person borrowing from Bahamas Mortgage Corporation meets its obligation, that they pay back the loan that they freely took from the bank. There's no free money.
The Deputy Prime Minister said that while no government wants to evict any homeowner, understanding the traumatizing nature of the process, he said government must draw the line somewhere. He advised those who may be experiencing economic hardship to reason with banks and the BMC to avoid losing their homes.
It doesn't work that way. I say to all Bahamians today, if you are in financial crisis, or you can foresee that you're going to be into financial crisis, go and see your lender. And the best time to go see them is before it becomes a crisis, because you have some workable situations. You know, you can extend your payment term, you can negotiate maybe for a lower interest rate, or even suspension of the interest and pay on the principal, or pay on the interest and pay the principal later. You can make arrangements. But you've got to go and speak to your bank.
Meantime, noted attorney Wayne Monroe QC says he's now representing 2 families now facing eviction and 3 families recently evicted by the Mortgage Corporation from their homes in Mount Moriah. Monroe, who ran in that constituency for the Democratic National Alliance in the 2012 general election, telling Eyewitness News that laws should be amended to avoid a social crisis.
I had advocated every time this mortgage review comes up that we pass a law that a mortgagee cannot take possession unless they have a sale or a lease for the premises if the mortgagor is willing to pay at minimum what would be assessed as a reasonable rent, because it makes no sense. In the case of the mortgage co-op, I'm going to be advising all of those folks to go to social services, to get social services to rent premises for them to stay since they are homeless.
Monroe added that the BMC must have some regard for its property and understand that if the home is left vacant for a certain period of time, it will not be insured.
There's no insurance coverage. If it's damaged by hurricane, there's no insurance coverage. Because the classic insurance policy says if a home is unoccupied for 30 days, the policy is non-effectual, it lapses. So all of that would cause you to think, why are you making this house unoccupied for a period where it will not be covered by perils, cover for perils? So as I say, I don't understand it other than a point of view of being spiteful and maybe vengeful because you don't like How do people talk to you? You don't like that they ignored you, but you can't be having regard for your security.
A formal framework for public-private partnerships has been introduced by government, which Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says will set out a clear definition and terms that will govern the process of identifying, screening, procuring, and maintaining PPPs. President of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, Gowan Bo, is weighing in tonight and says he supports the new policy, which he says he believes will ensure true accountability.
Projects that you want to be properly planned, you want to be properly scoped out, you want to be properly executed, and more importantly, properly operated and accountable. So for the individual or the businesses that will say, well, this is adding bureaucracy, I would say that, well, maybe you are getting away with something that was not as equitable for government. In this particular exercise, it sets out how government is going to, one, determine what the project is. And oftentimes we've seen a number of PPPs simply be unsolicited proposals going into government and the policymakers of the day saying that sounds like a good idea. And the ones that have been successful are the ones where there was a pause button. It said, do I have the right expertise to even understand what it is I need?
Well, the new policy has been established as government says it is looking at every possible means to limit borrowing and minimize its debt while meeting its financial obligations. Bo said he believes that in order for government to meet its infrastructural needs, especially in the Family Islands, these PPPs are a must.
Government has to sit back and prioritize its projects, and then it has to go about developing the PPPs. Over my career, I've been party to several of them where where it started was an unsolicited bid. And the ones that have been more successful are the ones that said, well, notwithstanding that, I've gone back and said, well, I have 3 persons who may bid. All of them have a different bid, so I'm comparing apples and oranges. When I design it myself, I understand what it is that I require. I then even go back to those same bidders and say, well, please all do it on the same level playing field. Then ultimately allows for better evaluation and hopefully the best candidate with the right finances, but more importantly, the right resources to execute.
A busy day down at the Magistrates Court today as 6 persons, 4 men and 2 women, were arraigned on separate counts of killing in the course of dangerous driving, some matters dating as far back as June. Our Francesca Brown was in court.
26-year-old Kristen Reckley, seen here with the braids and the blue sweater, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of killing in the course of dangerous driving and driving without insurance. Police say shortly before 1 a.m. on Sunday, September 16th, Reckley was driving a silver 2010 Marsh, driving north on Marathon Road when she lost control of the vehicle and struck 2 pedestrians, 23-year-old Stephen Delavon and 37-year-old Maud Augustine. They died on the scene. Reckley appeared before Magistrate Carolyn Vo Evans and was represented by B. John Ferguson. Ferguson told the court Reckley was the top female RBDF recruit this year and also serves as a national youth ambassador. She also has no previous convictions and took full responsibility for the accident. Magistrate Vo Evans remanded Reckley to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until October 10th when she will be sentenced. 37-year-old Kareem Bo, seen here in the green striped shirt, also appeared before Magistrate Vo Evans, charged with killing during the course of dangerous driving and driving without insurance. According to reports, on June 23rd around 6 a.m., Bo was driving a red 2008 Honda Accord traveling south on Foster Street when he hit Jean Robert Lubin. Lubin was taken to Princess Margaret Hospital but died a short time later of blunt force trauma to the head and torso. Bo pleaded guilty to the charges and told the court he was a recently married father of 2 who was employed as a facilities manager at the Ministry of Works. He accepted responsibility and has no prior convictions or pending charges. He was fined $10,000 or 6 months in jail on the first count or $100 and 5 days in jail on the second. Bo will remain in custody until the fine is paid. 57-year-old Floyd Weish, seen here in the black sweater, was also charged with killing during the course of dangerous driving and failing to remain on the scene. On Friday, July 20th, shortly after 10 p.m., a man was attempting to cross Robinson Road in the vicinity of Washington Street when he was struck by a red truck, which continued traveling in the eastern direction. The victim was taken to hospital but died a short time later. He has been identified as Andre Sanz. Weish was represented by Ian Coggrell. He pleaded guilty to the charges. Coggrell told the court Weish was a handicapped senior who only left the scene because he was in fear for his life, but he turned himself in 3 days later. Vo Evans remanded Weish to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until October 10th for his sentencing. Another woman, 26-year-old Taylor Pratt, was also charged with killing during the course of dangerous driving, failing to remain on the scene, and driving without insurance. According to reports, shortly after 11 p.m. on Friday, September 21st, a male was attempting to cross Tawny Williams-Darling Highway when he was struck by a red Suzuki car driven by Pratt, which was traveling in the eastbound lane. Pratt fled and the victim died on the scene. Pratt was represented by attorney Christina Galanis and appeared before magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe. She pleaded guilty to the charges except one, driving without insurance, and was fined $10,000 or 2 years on the first count and $500 or 6 months on the second. Pratt informed the court she only had $7,500. She was given until November 12th to pay the ballots. Francesca Brown, Eyewitness News.
We are just getting started in Eyewitness News, but when we come back, find out the global nursing initiative that's about to be launched. We are live from the Nurses Educational Conference opening. And later, Miss Bahamas' Eat Wise Exercise Stay Alive Challenge now in full swing. Find out more about the initiative coming up. But first, here's a check on tonight's weather forecast. There goes your live look over Yamacraw, where the temperature is right around 82 degrees. We've got an expected dip tonight to about 78. This is Eyewitness News. Welcome back. The issue of healthcare has taken up quite a bit of room in the national discussion as of late, with issue after issue plaguing the country's main healthcare facility in particular coming to light. Doctors and nurses have even banded together in recent time to protest working conditions and compensation. In fact, the Nurses Union has long been agitating for some resolve on those particular issues, which may come to the forefront in the Nurses Association of the Bahamas' annual educational conference that's about to get underway in the conference center of the police headquarters in just a matter of moments. Our Janina Ferguson is live at that event. She joins us now live. Janea?
Good evening, Candino. You said it correctly. We're now about to witness the launch of a two-day conference for the Nurses Association. It's really aimed at helping nurses to get better information to ensure that they raise the skills level and the status of nurses, not just on a local level, but on a global level as well. Now, this program is being partnered with the World Health Organization as well as the Pan American Health Organization. And launching this initiative tonight is Dr. Catherine Hanaway. Now, she heads the Nurses Now campaign. She joins us live tonight to tell us a little about the program. And we know that nurses on a local level have been challenged. One of the core principles of this program is to ensure that there are better working conditions for nurses. Now, Dr. Hanaway, can you tell us quickly, how does this initiative give local nurses here at home strength behind this goal?
Hello, yes, good evening. Lovely to be here. I'm launching the campaign here in the Bahamas, but it is global. It's happening all over the world, so that you're becoming part of the family of nursing now. It's led at the highest level, and we have the Minister of Health who's just arrived here this evening, and he's very much part of helping to strengthen and move forward nursing across the Bahamas. We're going to be running the campaign over the next 3 years, and it's up to the Bahamas to really grasp this and make a difference.
Well, Candino, I certainly think that this is the help or assistance on an international level that nurses have been agitating for. We know that nurses are now being recruited to the U.S., to Canada, and hopefully initiatives like this will help them or give them the tools they need to agitate government for the change that they have so long been requesting. But we will continue to stay here throughout the night, of course. Comments are expected to come from the health minister, and he'll give his perspective on the nursing plan going forward for the country. Back to you in studio, Candino.
All right, thanks a lot, Arjanina Well Ferguson, reporting for us live tonight. Now, former parliamentarian Earl Thompson Sr.'s body lay in state in the foyer of the House of Assembly this morning before he's laid to rest in a state-recognized funeral at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. After signing the Book of Condolences, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said Thompson will be remembered as an outspoken but fair politician.
He has made his contribution, especially during the time he had served his 5 years in Parliament, and I don't want to go into the controversies and his views at that particular time under former government, but it's all historically recorded.
Thompson served as Fort Charlotte MP for the Progressive Liberal Party from 1972 to 1977 before joining the Free National Movement in 1980. He became vice chairman in 1991. Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest said Thompson helped him overcome his shyness when he first entered the political arena.
He was one of those persons that pushed me, that made me do some things that would make me uncomfortable. And so, I always remember him very, very fondly for that supportive nature that he had and the spirit in which he interacted with young people like me. Certainly we have lost a giant of a man, a community man, and we thank him certainly for his service to the country, but also for me personally for the friendship and the mentorship that he gave to me personally.
More than 450 students will participate in the Eat Wise Exercise Stay Alive Challenge, which is now in full swing. It's an initiative by Miss Bahamas, Bernice Gibson, whose pageant platform has put her on a mission to help promote healthy lifestyles. And Claridge Primary, Uriah McPhee, Sadie Curtis, and Columbus Primary Schools have all committed to the cause. The initiative challenges schools to establish supportive school wellness policies by improving food and beverage offerings, teaching children about nutritious food choices, and being physically active. And the school that makes the greatest efforts towards this end will be awarded a cash prize. During the official launch of the Claridge Primary School yesterday, where wife of the Prime Minister, Patricia Minnis, was also on hand to partner with the Queen, Gibson challenged the students to make healthier choices.
I want you to repeat after me. I promise to eat wise.
I promise to eat wise.
I promise that I will exercise.
I promise that I will exercise.
So that I can stay alive. Thank you so much. What you said just now is more than a slogan. It's more than a platform for me. But it's been a lifestyle that has changed my life. And now I want the same for every single one of you.
All right, that does it for us in this segment. But coming up in sports, Randy Smith, he's off the top with all the latest. Randy?
DeAndre Ayton continues to impress fans and critics alike. We have more from his last game coming up in Eyewitness Sports. Good evening, everyone. I'm Randy Smith, and welcome to Eyewitness News Sports. Leading off tonight, DeAndre Ayton continues his dominant run through the NBA preseason. On Wednesday night, Ayton had 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a 91-86 win over the New Zealand Breakers, moving to the Suns' early season record to 2-0. Tonight, Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings take on LeBron James and the Lakers. That game kicks off at 10:30 p.m. In college action, an injury could delay Franco Miller Jr.'s debut for the Ole Miss Rebels. According to team coach Kermit Davis, Miller had surgery earlier this week to repair a knee injury and is expected to miss the first few months of the season.
A little beat up right now. Hadn't been a good week for our freshman class. Franco Miller had surgery Saturday. He hadn't been healthy since he's been here. He came in with kind of an existing knee pain, and so it's kind of been a fracture of a kneecap, and he had surgery, and it'll probably be, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks.
BAISS softball action continued yesterday with senior boys and junior girls play. In the senior boys division, St. Anne's beat Charles Sanders 19-5, QC beat St. John's 20-6, and SAC beat Aquinas 19-1. In junior girls play, QC beat St. John's 2-1, and NCA beat St. Andrews 21-3. On the boxing front, heavyweight Amron Sands looks to remain undefeated tomorrow night when he takes on Franco Russell in Tampa, Florida. Sands is currently 6-0, 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And in baseball news, the New York Mets organization released Champ Stewart today. He was one of 49 minor leaguers released by the team in recent days. Stewart played this season with the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and had one of his toughest years in the minors. In 55 games, he posted a career-low .136 batting average with 19 runs, 2 doubles, and 7 RBIs. Well, that does it for us in sports. We'll stay tuned. Eyewitness News continues in a moment. I'm Randy Smith. Have a great evening.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
All right, coming up and beyond the headlines with Clint Watson, the host on the defense tonight, following comments made in Parliament yesterday. He joins me now live with more on that. Clint?
Kenny, you said it correctly. It's not the position we like to take as the fourth estate, but when it comes to defending our work, we have no other choice. Tonight, comments made by the Deputy Prime Minister in Parliament dominate our discussion. We not only share those comments, but we'll also respond to them as well.
All right, that's coming up and beyond the headlines with Clint Watson. That starts right after this. That does it for us at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Candino Knowles saying good night.